I believe you have a solid idea on your hand, young Whisper. Lord Merrick
Whisper.
says,
Whisper
unfortunately...
pulls out the cotton so he can actually hear the reprimand.
Unfortunately, Lord Cirrus says, you just showed the weakness yourself. You would not be able to hear Mir, but you would not be able to hear anything else as well. It'd be kind of like trying to fix a broken finger by chopping off your arm, Clearso adds. But I do think you're onto something.
Kuhn raises his hand.
A thought occurred to me. Yes?
What is worse, not being able to hear or attacking your own ally?
That is true. But I think he may be onto something just from a different direction. Instead of deafening ourselves, what if there were perhaps a way to silence him?
I believe we discussed that exact thing not too long ago.
Yes, I could do some research myself. Actually, Lady Etherian, yes? I was originally intending to look amongst the noble families, see if any of them had a connection to... had any connections to the Pirate King, if may have helped him into the city. After all, these plans would be moot if we cannot actually find the individual. But now I'm thinking that perhaps my resources would be better spent finding a spell or item that could indeed silence a person and render them mute. Your library is almost as extensive as my own. Would you be willing to help with this research? Of course, I can see what I can do. Excellent.
I have dabbled recently a little bit in magic. I think there might be some promising results in the darkness area.
Lady Flemeth, what would you say about that? I'm not sure what I know what you're talking about, she says to Lord Merrick. I am not a mage, despite what some people might claim.
There is one ability that I have which might be able to, at the very least, prolong or prevent him from being able to speak for a short time, but I can't guarantee that it would be successful.
Any advantage we can get in a man like that would be incredible. Would be at least something, Lord Cirrus says. In any case, well, you said you were going to try to find any connections to him amongst the nobles, Lord Merrick. Yes, indeed. I think I might try to take the opposite approach. I'll hit the streets, see if any of the common folk have seen anything. And if they're willing, he looks over at both Whisper and Kuhn. I'd like to bring those two along.
Oh, are we going for a walk?
Lord Katia. Lord Katia sneers at this. Do you trust these two with such an important matter? Do you disagree with my choice? Lord Cirrus says to him, yes, I quite do. Then I thank you for the rousing endorsement. Besides, we have a skilled warrior and, from the looks of things, a talented... Well,
Whatever
this is
you
not
are.
exactly a polite term to use here, but you are cunning. Let me just put it that way. I believe your skills would be quite useful in tracking down near.
On
What about-
that note,
What about you two? Your mother says to you, Korim and Klaus. Oh, that reminds me. I have a time and location for you to meet with Vinceris or her representative. I shall. It has already been. An emissary of mine has already sent it to her, so she knows of the time and place, and it is. And he gives you a time and location. It is in the city, near the fortress gates, and very by the fortress gates, and it will be quite late at night, after midnight, which gives you plenty of time to do stuff during the day.
I assume that it's still one of those situations where you must come alone. Besides which, I'm used to that by now.
No. Given everything that has been happening, you will have an escort. We could either have a group of a guard of Golden Lion elites, or if you prefer, there are banishers who would be willing to help just in case Mia does find a way to put you under his curse. So from what they have told me, you and them may have a bit of history, I hear, not entirely pleasant.
It would be better if it were only one, maybe two people, rather than a large escort.
If you prefer only a single one, I can certainly arrange that. I just thought it might be safer to have a group instead of one individual who could potentially be killed and then leave you vulnerable to. But if you wish for only one accompaniment, then by all means.
My lord, we are dealing in spycraft, and most especially we are dealing with an individual who, to be perfectly frank, is neither the most trustworthy nor the most trusting of people. Even with a time and a place, if I were to show up with an entire platoon of guards, well, let's just say that it is entirely likely that the meeting may not actually take place.
This is correct. Perhaps I am getting a bit overly focused on the danger of Mia. It is a distracting one, you must admit.
True.
But you raise an excellent point. Very well. As long as you have at least one person with you, it should be fine. Of course, even your companions may come along if you wish. Though, I would think that might not be the best idea. I'd not want her to learn about the ghost, and well, I'm not sure how she would react with the two Reds working with you like that. Then again, it could make her, well, perhaps more willing to listen, or just raise a paranoia higher. It is sometimes difficult to tell with that woman. Still, the choice is yours, of course. In the meantime, what will you be doing? The meeting is not for quite a while, after all.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure at this point. I'm not exactly one that could easily mingle among the common people without them beginning to figure out who I am.
Well,
not anymore, anyway.
Well then, would you like to help your mother and I with the research on finding that counterspell to Mia?
I believe that would actually be the best use of my time, yes.
Excellent. And what about you, son? What do you want to do? Sarah asks you, Klaus.
Yeah, Klaus has been just staring at the table for a little while, so he just lifts his head again slowly. It's like, I think I need to go talk with my master.
Of course. Yes, I can see the benefits of that, Lord Merrick says. Well then, I believe, unless that is... yes, Lord Katir, you haven't said what you'll be doing. I'm going to check the perimeter outside of the city. I'm still not fully convinced that our efforts to search for Mir within are not simply a distraction to leave our people on the outskirts vulnerable. I'll go with him, Clearso says. Someone's got to keep the big lump and keep the big lump behaving himself. There is some polite coughs from a few people in the room. Lady Clearso, still, I believe that is... In that case, I believe that is everything discussed in this meeting adjourned. Sorry, everyone starts packing up, and Lady Clearso picks up her bow, sitting down on her back, and turns to all of you. My friends, I know our circumstances are dire, but we must not despair. It is in these trying times that survivors become heroes. Heroes become legends. Legends become immortal. And the immortal becomes... Yes, thank you, Lady Clearso, but we are quite short on time. And now we cut back to Vell, who has indeed found a portrait of who you assume must be the mother of Horus and Khan. She is a relatively short, stocky but fit woman with pale skin and jet black hair that hangs long down her back. She has, despite her build, she has a very graceful look to her.
Well, time to go dream hopping.
Indeed.
She dips into Horus's head like she would with Klaus, and again, she is not actively possessing. She's just invading.
I was gonna say, she's just there.
She's going to observe what's going on in Horus's head for a moment. His dream.
I'm not stealing, I'm trespassing.
There is a difference. I'm not taking anything that doesn't belong to me.
It's
Except
not
for,
Imperio,
knowledge.
it's just mind reading. It's occlumency. Legilimency, actually. One's illegal, one is not. In any case, so, what do I see in Horus's dream while I'm disguised as his mother?
The first thing you see is a fog, a mist. As it clears away, you see a younger Horus. His beard has not fully grown in yet. He looks to be around about... Well, physically, he looks no older than you see him now. In fact, the only thing that gives a hint about his youth is the lack of a beard and the younger look in his eyes. There's something about the way he carries himself. However, as he slumps in his chair after reading a letter, you start to see some of that great return. What is it, brother? What is it, brother? Khan says, looking at his elder. Three more ships. 3 more ships. lost. So the plan to go around to the top of the jungle. Apparent from the survivors' report, they were dashed against the shores by the waves. Through the jungle, we can't go around it. Tried to, and the last.
Have you tried going above it, my darlings?
Horus stands up. Hey, Vell, make a bluff check.
21.
Okay, there is there is a flash of there is a look from Horus, but then he smiles. Unless we have a dragon, it's not exactly like we can just fly overhead.
Just offering suggestions, darling.
Of course. Make a perception check.
It's like Ares from Wonder Woman.
29.
Okay, so you notice that some of the details of the room are fading away. Khan disappears into the fog, as well as certain things of the room, as the attention of Horus's dream mind now shifts away from what he was thinking about before and starts focusing more on you. You notice the room shifting until it looks like a garden, one you're certain you have never seen in the palace, in the Tagora Palace before. In fact,
Must have been from the homeland.
that is a very astute guess. Yes.
Something troubling you, darling?
It's nothing. It is just anticipation. Our first mission, Khan and I, to see an entire new island. I've been waiting a whole new land to claim for the Empire.
Permission to speak bluntly, dear.
Mother, you don't need to ask my permission for anything.
You are a grown man, my son. You will be a great king in your own right. It is only fitting that you are due respect. I may be your mother, but you are about to do something new and brave. You have earned it. Therefore, but since you have granted it, I shall ask. Are you sure that this is the right thing to do? Not the best thing, not the bravest thing, but the right thing. Have you thought of every consequence? Have you considered every possible outcome?
The area around you starts to shift. You see flashes. You hear sounds into apart quickly. You are on a ship. The waves rocking it. A bolt of lightning strikes the deck where you are with such force that it smashes through the wooden timber. You are thrown off the feet. You hit the water. Everything's swirling around. You don't know what's up. You don't know what's down. The scene shifts again. The sound is muted, but you can see Horus yelling and arguing with his brother. And his brother turns away. Then you see a bird's eye view image of a map with figures and statistics on it. There is a note in the corner, people lost. Then there is another image, an image of Tagora being built up, of the walls being constructed, and you see your son look of pride in his face. And then you see the tiredness he feels as the war is coming to. As you see him looking at figures and statistics of the war, you see images in his mind of battles between reds and golds.
I would like to place my hand on his shoulder.
Everything swells around and you feel like you're an empty, grey void, still like a calm sea. I don't know.
And that's all right not to know.
I am the king.
You are human. You are not a god. You don't think that your father and I ever made wrong choices?
Dad always acted like he knew exactly what he was doing.
And that's why it's called acting, darling.
How are you so quick on the draw with all of that?
My son, you and Khan, I know you both don't get along at the moment. You are both brave, good men. But you have more stubbornness than a pack of mules on steroids. And
what should we? I've been trying to convince him for years, but refuses to listen.
Darling, perhaps you need to just meet somewhere in the middle. I know.
What? We send what? I send half of my people to die?
No. A small squadron of specialized people. You've been hurt so much, darling. Going your way. What more do you have to lose other than your brother?
We did that. We sent out a squadron the first time, and they never came back. Then we sent out another.
Those creatures, Horus, aren't going anywhere. You've seen the destruction they've wrought. They're coming to you. And going in there may be our only hope.
And Horus wakes up.